Good morning. Greetings from a dry but blustery and quite cold Northumberland. It's about 15 minutes after sunrise, which means it's about 8 o'clock. Which reminds me to tell you that you mustn't forget that the clocks go back tonight. Otherwise, you'll all get to church an hour early and maybe be locked out and on the doorstep wherever you are. So remember, it's the autumn, the clocks go back, and we return to Greenwich Mean Time. That will make things simpler in this household in two ways. Both of our car clocks are still on Greenwich Mean Time, and as some of you know, if I turn the camera, the clock here in my study, which is always a little bit out of reach, stays on Greenwich Mean Time all the time. It is, after all, God's proper time, and we're going back to it for the winter. That's just a frivolous note. Two items in the news struck me this morning as I looked at the news when I woke up. One was a quite a long article about exhaustion, and particularly exhaustion for medical staff and nurses. People describing how the first 6 months or the first 4 months of COVID, they'd sort of gone into a trance almost. And that even now, after most of them have had a holiday, and of course it's been a strange sort of holiday, many nursing staff, doctors, nurses, and those who work at the front line are dreading and are fearful about how they're going to cope with this long winter. It makes me return to a theme that I explored at the beginning of the week, and that is the amazing gratitude that we have for those people who, often not properly rewarded, are working so hard for the benefit of us all at this time. The second article I read was about the outpouring of generosity at the campaign by Marcus Rashford. The headline says this, Rashford proud of the school holiday meals response. And as you know, he's a footballer. He's been campaigning for free school meals to continue during holidays. He works at a food bank, all these marvellous things. And his campaign has provoked local authorities, has provoked businesses, has provoked individuals to offer resources during school holidays, during the coming half term or the present half term. Most children have already broken up. And through the winter to support those families who need help. And remember, there will be more of them because of this COVID situation. It's a great sign. It's a sign of generosity, it's a sign of compassion. And it's a sign that even in the middle of this very dark time, people are capable of doing marvellous things. It's also, I think, a sign to politicians that this sort of generosity is something that people value and people require from our leaders. Because people who are sick or people who are poor are not at fault. In the Gospel this morning, in Luke chapter 13, Jesus firmly knocks on the head this idea that suffering is a result of our sin. He really firmly knocks it on the head. You know, people say this tower fell on people, or people say these people were attacked by Pilate because they were sinners. This is not the case. Jesus says they're just the same as us. We are all the same. We all live in a fallen world, and we all live in a world where bad things happen to good people. We live in a world where COVID wreaks havoc and chaos and suffering. And most people, in fact all people, are not are not responsible. Yes, some people will do stupid things and place their health and the health of others at risk. But COVID itself is not the fault of the people who get it. Jesus knocks that on the head. And he then goes on to say that we've got to bear fruit, the parable of the tree, of the vine that needs to be manured and all that. He says God gives us all this, and we have to bear fruit. Well, fruit is being born in those people who are helping and reaching out to the poor at this time. Fruit is being born in those who are going above and beyond to help others. May we all bear fruit in a similar way. God bless us today. And don't forget, put your clocks back tonight.